offered in the Vedas as fruitive, activities like karma kanda. Ninth, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of holy name. Tenth, to not have complete faith in chanting the holy name and to maintain material attachments, even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnavas must guard against these offenses in order to achieve the desired success, Krishna Prema. Once again, I thank you everyone for joining the Bhakti Sangha conference call today morning. Let us move to our next session, which is Srimad Bhagavatam class. May I know who all have joined this call? Who all have joined the call this morning?
Hare Krishna, Jyoti Mataji, Dandrat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru Maharaj ki Jai, Preeti Dasi from Charlotte. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandrat Pranam, Preeti Devi Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru and Gauranga. Thank you so much for joining the call and giving your valuable association this morning. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Jyoti Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Srila Keshavanada, and to all the assembled devotees. This is Sneha from Naperville. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandvat Pranam, Megha Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru and Gauranga. Thank you so much for joining the call and giving your valuable association this morning. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. Yashamati from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Dandvat Pranam Mataji, Yashamati Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru and Gauranga. Thank you so much for joining the call and giving your valuable association this morning. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Jyoti Mataji, all glories Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumar Devidasi from Rani.
Hare Krishna, Dandvat Pranam, Krishna Kumari Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru and Gauranga. Thank you so much for joining the call and giving your valuable association this morning. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
No, go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavas Pranams, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj and all the devotees present. This is Eka Radhika Leela Devidasi. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandvat Pranam, Eka Radhika Leela Devi Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru and Gauranga. Thank you so much for joining the call and giving your valuable association this morning. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisance to you and assembled Zoom devotees. I'm Charana Lakshmi from Malaysia. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dandvat Pranam, Charana Lakshmi Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru and Gauranga. Thank you so much for joining this call and giving your valuable association to Bhakti Sangha conference call. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Jyoti Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharajas, and all glories to the assembled devotees. This is Tiffany in Pennsylvania. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandvat Pranam, Tiffany Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru and Gauranga. Thank you so much for joining this call and giving your valuable association this morning. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Jyoti Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees. This is Sanita Ramya from Sharjah. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandvat Pranam, Anita Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru and Gauranga. Thank you so much for joining the call and giving your valuable association every day. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Jyoti Mataji, Dandvat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru Maharaj ki Jai, this is Shyama Gauri Dasi from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna, Dandvat Pranam, Shama Gauri Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru and Gauranga. Thank you so much for joining this call and giving your valuable association and being such a lovely inspiration to all of us. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Jyoti Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru Maharaj ki Jai. This is Aditi Devi Dasi from Canada.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Aditi Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru and Gauranga. Thank you so much for joining the call and always being the support to me. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Request if anyone would like to introduce themselves, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. This is Vishuddha Anantadas from Ahmedabad. I'm joining for the first time. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Vishuddha Anantadas Prabhuji. Hope I have correctly pronounced. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru and Gauranga. Thank you so much for joining this call and giving your valuable association. We welcome you. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Yeah, please keep joining Prabhuji. Let's say 3 times Hari Bol for Prabhuji. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari
Hari Bol.
Bol.
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is Sri Hari Dada from Fairfax, Virginia, Washington, D.C. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Gurudev. Hare Krishna to everybody in the class. Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Shri Hari Radha Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru and Gauranga. Thank you so much for joining the call and giving your valuable association. And please forgive me if I have mispronounced your name. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, all glories to assembled devotees. This is Mohini Lakshmi from Detroit.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, Mohini Lakshmi Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru and Gauranga. Thank you so much for joining this call and giving your valuable association this morning. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji is already 7:20, so we can start.
Welcome to Bhakti Sangha conference call. Welcome to Bhakti Sangha conference call. We are very fortunate to have His Grace, Dr. Keshavanada Prabhuji, to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 4, verse number 32.
Prabhuji is not on the call.
No, we can read the verse, Mataji.
Okay. Shall I share the screen?
Yes. Into Mataji. Okay.
Shall I go ahead?
Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
Astiti nastiti shcha vastu nishthayor ekashatyor vinnaha viduraha viruddhaha dharmanoh evarshitam kincha yogah shankayoho samam param bhaya anukulam bruhatatta asti. Prabhuji has joined. Welcome to Bhakti Sangha conference call, Prabhuji. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Dr. Keshavanada Prabhuji, and he's going to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 4, verse number 32. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam to you. Eternally grateful to you for giving your valuable time and association this morning and enlightening us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yeah. Prabhuji, can we read the verse?
Yeah. Please go ahead and read the verse. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu.
Synonyms.
Continue.
Asti, there is, iti, thus, na, not, asti, there is, iti, thus, cha, and vastu nishthayoho, professing knowledge of the ultimate cause, eka shatayoho, which with one and the same subject matter, establishing Brahma, vinnaha demonstrating different, viruddhaha dharmanoho, and the opposite characteristics, avikshitam, perceived kinchana, that something which yoga, Shankha Yoga of the mystic yoga and the Shankya philosophy, analysis of the ways of the nature. Samam, the same, Param, transcendental, he indeed, Anukulam, dwelling place, Brihattat, the ultimate cause. Now, translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada ki jai. There are two parties, namely the theists and the atheists. The theist who accept the supersoul and finds the spiritual cause through the mystic yoga. The Sankhyites, however, who merely analyze the material elements, come to a conclusion of impersonalism and does not accept a supreme cause. Whether Bhagwan, Paramatma, or even Brahman, instead, he is preoccupied with the superfluous eternal activities of material nature. Ultimately, however, both parties demonstrate the absolute truth because although they offer opposing statements, their object is the same ultimate cause. They both are approaching the same Supreme Brahman, to whom I offer my respectful obeisances. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Actually, there are two sides of this argument. Some say that the Absolute has no form, Nirakara, and others says that the Absolute has a form, Sakara. Therefore, the word form is the common factor. Although some accept it asti or astik, whereas others try to negate it nasti or nasti. Since the devotees consider the word form, akara, the common factor for both, he offers his respectful obeisances to the form. Although the others may go on arguing about whether the Absolute has a form or not. In this verse, the word yoga, Sankhya Yoga, is very important. Yoga means Bhakti Yoga because yogis also accept the existence of all pervading Supreme Soul and try to see the Supreme Soul within their hearts. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 12, Chapter 13 and verse 1, Dhyana Vishishtaha Tat Gatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha. The devotees try to come directly in touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whereas the yogis try to find the super soul within the heart by meditation. Thus, both directly and indirectly, yoga means Bhakti Yoga. Sankhya, however, means physical study of the cosmic situation through speculative knowledge. This is generally known as Jnana Shastra. The Sankhyites are attached to the impersonal Brahman, but the absolute truth is known in three ways: Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagwan iti, Shabdete. The absolute truth is one, but some accept him as impersonal Brahman, some as the super soul existing everywhere, and some as Bhagwan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The central point is the absolute truth. Although the impersonalist and personalist fight with one another, they focus upon same Parabrahman, the name absolute truth. In the Yoga Shastra, Krishna is described as follows: Krishna Sangam Brahmaram Abhujiksha. Please forgive me, I'm trying. Abhujekshanam Chaturbhujam Shankha Gadha Udhayudham. Thus, the pleasing appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's bodily features, his limbs and his dress are described. The Sankhya Shastra, however, denies the existence of the Lord's transcendental form. The Sankhya Shastra says that the Supreme Absolute Truth has no hands, no legs, and no name. Higher Anam, Rupam, Guna, Pani, Padam, Chakshur, Astrom, Ekam, Avityam, Api, Nama, Rupadikam, Nasti. The Vedic mantra says, Apani, Pado, Javano, Grahita. The Supreme Lord has no legs and hands, but he can accept whatever is offered to him. Actually, such statements accept the Supreme has hands and legs, but deny that he has material hands and legs. This is why the absolute truth is called Aprakarta. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has a Satchit Ananda Vigraha, a form of eternity, knowledge, and bliss, not a material form. The Shankaites or Gyanis denies the material form, and the devotees are also also know very well that the absolute truth, Bhagwan, has no material form. Ishwaraha Paramaha Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govindaha Sarva Karana Karanam. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme controller. He has an eternal, blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, for he is the prime cause of all causes. The conception of the absolute without hands and legs and the conception of the absolute with hands and legs are apparently contradictory, but they both coincide with the same truth about the supreme absolute person. Therefore, the word Vastunishtayoho, which is used herein, indicates that both the yogis and the Sankaites have faith in the reality, but are giving about it from the different viewpoints of material and spiritual identities. Parabrahma or Brihat is a common point. The Sankaites and the yogis are both situated in that same Brahman, but they differ because of different angles of vision. The direction given by the Bhakti Shastra point 1 in the perfect direction, because the Supreme Personality of Godhead says in Bhagavad Gita, Bhaktya Mam Ahi Janati, only by devotional service am I to be known. The Bhaktas know that the Supreme Person has no form, whereas the Gyanis simply deny the material form. One should therefore take shelter of Bhakti Marga, the path of devotion, then everything will be clear. Gyanis concentrate on the Virat Rupa, the gigantic universal form of the Lord. This is a good system in the beginning for those who are extremely materialistic. But there is no need to think continuously of Virat Rupa. When Arjuna was shown the Virat Rupa of Krishna, he saw it, but he did not want to see it perpetually. He therefore requested the Lord to return to his original form as two-armed Krishna, and in conclusion, learned scholars find no contradiction in the devotees' concentration upon the spiritual form of the Lord, Ishwara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. In this regard, Srila Madhvacharya says that less intelligent non-devotees think that their conclusion is the ultimate, but because devotees are completely learned, they can understand that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate goal. Hare Krishna. Now I will hand over the call to Prabhuji. Prabhuji, please give us the class. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so I think I'm here to discuss this verse. I'll just offer obeisances and start. Om Ajnanaatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamiti. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharinir Visheshinavadi Pashta. So we are discussing this verse. This is 6th canto and 4th chapter and 32nd verse. Now, this is one of the famous verses. Quite, I think Jiva Goswami comments on, quotes this to make a point. Astiti iti nasti iti cha vastu nishthayo. Some people say that God exists. Astiti. Astiti means God exists. And some others says that nastiti, that God doesn't exist in the sense that God's form doesn't exist. That's what the interpretation is, because vastu nishthayo, vastu means goal. So vastu nishtha, nishtha means faith. All the transcendentalists, they want to understand vastu. Vastu means reality. The Bhagavatam begins with this verse. Vedyam vastavam vastu atra shivadam taptryon unmulanam. That verse Bhagavatam begins with. And you just give me a minute. I should close this. So Bhagavatam begins with this verse, Vedyam vastavam vastu atra shivadam, that Janmadhyasa in that verse. It says there is a need after Janmadhyasa, Vedyam vastavam vastu atra shivadam, that there's a need to know Vedyam vastavam, vastu, the object of inquiry. And what is the object of inquiry? There are so many objects, but vastavam, but an object which is reality. And that's why Bhakti Sanis Thakur, Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Maharaj, they used to say reality, the beautiful. Shivadam, Shivadam means beauty, auspiciousness. In Upanishads, they say Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. You might have heard that. And that's Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. These are three adjectives given to Supreme Personality of Godhead. His truth, his auspicious, Shivam, and Sundaram means his beauty. So we are interested in the beauty part, reality, the beautiful. Because beauty means truth, and beauty automatically is auspicious. So some people believe in the form, some people believe in not only the form, but the qualities and the pastimes, the whole panorama of the personality we accept as it is. The whole dimension of spiritual kingdom, spiritual people, and the interaction between them, we are comfortable with it as devotees. But some others who are bhakti yoga, they are actually Sankhyavadis. They are called Sankhyavadis. For them, it is nastiti. They also want to know vastu. They also want to know reality, but through knowledge and through speculation and through analyzing this material nature. Because they approach reality with knowledge, they want to approach reality not through love, as devotees do, and they want to approach reality through knowledge. That is why they perceive absolute truth or reality as impersonal, with no form. Which is called as Brahman. Brahmeti Paramatmeti Bhagavaniti Shabdati. So, but devotees who approach reality with love, reality reveals itself. The most beautiful and handsome and most auspicious form, which is Krishna. We can see him, we can feel him, we can talk to him. Srila Prabhupada says, as face, you'll be able to do that. Meet, we can talk to him, we can embrace him, we can dance with him. And that's why gopis In Chaitanya Charitamrita Ante Leela, gopis are saying, Krishna, we are not satisfied by your mercy. We are not satisfied by your mercy. We want you and not your mercy. Devotees who want mercy of God, they are, in the eyes of gopis, they are sense gratified. But Gopi says, we are not satisfied. Yadi tomar paddoy karaye uday, tabi to tumhar poon kripa mani. Gopis are saying, if you come to us, if we can see you, we can talk to you, that's ultimate success of life. That's what we want. We don't want mercy. Who cares for mercy? Mercy is for people who are non-devotees. According to gopis, let them take mercy. But we want you. Gopis say to Krishna in Ante Leela that we feel that if you are giving your mercy and not yourself, you're cheating us. So as devotees, we don't ask for mercy. I mean to say, this might be shocking for you because, yeah, in just a minute. Yeah, just so this might be shocking to you, but I think if you think about it, I mean to say, everybody speaks of mercy, as if it seems that as if they're interested in themselves more than Krishna. If always talking about mercy, give me mercy, give me mercy, give me mercy, give me mercy. Krishna says, well, I can give you mercy, but what about me? Are you not concerned about me? Krishna says, give me mercy. Why do you want mercy? Give me some mercy and shut up, and do some service and try to attain me. That's the idea. So you see, Gopi's vision is very different. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came us to give this highest level of devotion. Asking mercy is not wrong, but from the standard of Gopis, it's definitely wrong. From a neutral point of view, it's okay, but Mahaprabhu says, no, you should go to a higher standard. Why are you stuck on lower standard? Don't be stuck on lower standard. Go to higher platform. And Mahaprabhu has given the way and the process to do it. And we can do it in this life if we are little serious and little discriminatory in our approach to Krishna consciousness, whom to hear, whom not to hear, what to read, what not to read. You have to have some kind of intelligence to advance. Yajanti sumedasa. So that's the point there. So gopis, they are approaching Krishna through love, and they want Krishna. Love means you want Krishna, even if he doesn't give you mercy. That's what Radharani says. Ashlishyava padratam panashtumam. Even if you exploit me, I want you. It doesn't matter. I want to be with you, even if I come to know you're exploiting me, but because I can't help it, I can't remain with you. That is love. So love means illogical, irrational. Love is not rational. If you think that you have understood love, that means you have not understood it. Love is almost like quantum physics. So Heisenberg said, anybody who says I've understood quantum physics, that means he has not understood quantum physics. That's love all about. So gopis love Krishna. It's a spontaneous and natural love. And that is why Krishna reveals himself to gopis. Krishna comes near to them. And that's normal in this material world. If we love somebody, he loves us. And then he comes and he wants to stay with us, isn't it? And wants to make relationship with us. So Krishna wants to make relationship with us. He wants to love us. And he reveals himself, his form, his qualities, his personality. He says, okay, you love me, here I am. I want to tell about myself to you. And and by the way, if you read Gita, I think in Gita, this 12th chapter, Krishna says, I think 12th and I think 13th chapter, he says, now I am telling you more, Krishna. He says to Arjuna, Arjuna, I am telling you more about myself because you are my devotee. Even at the end of 9th chapter, Krishna finishes his Gita. He says, okay, I'm done. But then Arjuna asks some questions, and then Krishna continues, and then he says, I'm telling you this for your benefit, and I'm continuing this. That means Krishna, you see, because Arjuna is there in front of him and Arjuna is his devotee, he loves him. So Krishna is revealing himself. Even in Gita, you see this theme, right? In 10th chapter, in 13th chapter, he's continuing and he's saying, Arjuna, you wait, I finished my message, but I want to tell you more about myself in details. So even in Gita, you can find glimpses of how love makes the reality to be revealed in his heart and in front of the eyes of his soul. The devotee's love forces Krishna, if we can use the word force, to reveal himself. And even in Gita, we can see those glimpses. So Krishna cannot withhold in front of them. And that's why devotees who love him, this verse says, Astiti iti. Astiti. Krishna is there, and he's having a form, he's having qualities, he's having pastimes. In fact, the word astik means theist, but theist is a very loose term, because astik means one who accepts the form of Lord. According to Madhvacharya, he explains, who accepts the form of Lord, that is astik. Nastik means who don't accept the form of Lord. So to his lovers, to his devotees, he reveals his form. But then is Nastik. People who don't love Krishna, who wants to analyze him, wants to understand him through their logic. Krishna says, well, no, sorry. But then because they approach Krishna, he has to give something. He can't let anybody go empty-handed. He doesn't do that. Because if anybody comes to Krishna and they go empty-handed, it is actually defaming of disgrace on the part of Krishna. It disgraces Krishna, because so it's almost like a king. It's almost like a king. For a king, so many people go to king and then they ask him, okay, my dear king, we want this, we want that, and king must give something. And king says, from my kingdom nobody goes empty-handed, because if somebody goes empty-handed, then they will say king is so mean and so poor, he didn't give me anything. So Krishna has to give them something, because they want to understand reality, but they don't know that reality is Krishna. But nevertheless, they want to approach reality and they want to understand. Krishna says, okay, well, okay, fine. I give you the realization of my formless feature, which is nothing other than Hiranyamaya Patrena Satyasya Pihita Mukam, which is nothing other than the effulgence of his body. He reveals his effulgence, but he doesn't reveal his form. And that is called Brahman realization. So that is the idea there. Astiti nastiti, vastunishthaya. Now, then the verse says, ekasthayor abhinna viruddha dharmano. It seems that both these transcendentalists are on different paths. One is formless, one is form, and they keep on fighting. People who believe in form, devotees, we always say these are nonsense people who think Krishna is formless, and devotees who think Krishna is formless, we say, well, they say these are foolish people. Krishna is having no form. Ultimately, he is form, but ultimately he is formless. So devotees, and they keep on fighting. Viruddha dharmana. It seems contradictory, but it's not. It's not. Why? Because ekastho, because both are one. The point in this verse which Prabhupada is making is both are approaching reality from different perspectives. It's a simple example which is given of elephant. The elephant, some blind people want to want to understand what is an elephant, and they go and touch the elephant. The person who touches the leg of the elephant, they think elephant is trunk shaped. People who hold the tail of an elephant, they think elephant is like a rope. People who touch his ears, they think elephant is like a leaf. People who touch the trunk of elephant, they think elephant is like a pipe, and so on and so on. Because they are seeing, because they are blind, so they're touching elephant, and the elephant is so big, they can only touch a portion of the elephant, and then they assume elephant is like that. Similarly, absolute is infinite, and we touch that absolute from different perspectives. Jnanis, they touch him very superficially, the thing, so they think reality is impersonal jyoti. Yogis, they touch the reality a little bit more, so they think reality is just a form in your heart. And devotees who touch the Lord all in all with love, and they embrace him, they come to know actually reality is not just a form. He talks, he walks, he has qualities, he has pastimes, and then they make a bond with him. So that's the idea there. The idea is with half knowledge, things might seem contradictory. Even in Bhagavad Gita, you will find many contradictory things. I mean to say, you will find the message of Krishna contradictory. Sometimes, like for example, Krishna says, Sagunan samtityan bhaktyamam avicharani bhakti yoga sevate sagunan samtityan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Krishna says, if you do bhakti, avivichari bhakti, pure devotion, then sagunan samtityan, then you will cross the modes of nature and you will be united with me. Okay. And another verse, Krishna says, Brahmbhuta prasanna atmana soshati na kamshati. Sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhakti labhate param. Krishna says, if you cross the material modes of nature, Brahmbhuta, then you will attain bhakti to me. So in previous verse, he says, if you do bhakti, you will cross the modes of material nature. In this verse, he says, if you cross the modes of material nature, then you will attain bhakti to me. It appears contradictory. It is not, but it appears. If you try to understand with the association of devotees, it is not, but it appears contradictory. Krishna says, I come. So another example, Krishna says, I come in this material world. Dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yoge yoge. I come here to establish religious principles. And then the last verse, the central verse of Bhagavad Gita, he says, Sarv dharman paritajya, abandon all religious principles. So what's happening? Is Krishna mad, psycho? He's saying, I have come here to establish religious principles, and then he's saying, abandon all religious principles. He's crazy or what? If you read Gita, without association of devotees, you will come to conclusion Krishna is a crazy man. We don't want to listen to him. But he? If we understand, if we come in association of devotees, we'll understand he's not crazy, we are crazy. That we can't handle different instructions on different levels and from different perspectives. So when Krishna says Sarv Dharman Paritajya, he is not saying that abandon all religious principles. He is saying abandon all attachment to religious principles and be attached to me. Mamekam Sharanam Praja. You should follow religious principles until unless you are in this material life, but don't be attached to them, be attached to me. Then it solves the equation. So that is why it is said that people who are fools, they think yoga and sankhya are different. Sankhya yoga pritak bala prabadantina pandita, Krishna says in Bhagavad. People who are child, they think sankhya and yoga are different. The aim of sankhya is impersonal realization. The aim of bhakti yoga is personal realization. People who are childish, they think they are different, but they are not different. They are perceiving the reality from different perspectives. That's all. That's it. But nevertheless, they are trying to approach the same reality, which is Krishna, but from different perspectives. That's all. Some are doing partially, some are doing in complete sense, but all are vastu nishthayo, ekastho. All are trying to understand the same transcendental reality which is beyond this material world. All of them, Sankhya or yogis, bhakti yogis, they both are disinterested in this material world. They have nothing to do with this material world, and they're interested in something beyond this material world. That's all. So that is why Krishna says that that is the central verse of, that is the central understanding of this verse. And that is why Prabhupada says in translation, they both are approaching the same Supreme Brahman, to whom I offer respectful obeisances. They both are trying to demonstrate the absolute truth, which is the ultimate cause. So we don't need to really, the idea is we are not here to, as far as devotees are concerned, the difference of opinion with the impersonalist is, well, okay, you can try to understand God and reality, but for devotees, we are not here to understand him, we are here to taste. The Vedanta Sutra begins with Athato Brahma Jigyasa. But devotee says Athato Brahma Asvadanam. We are here to taste. Srila Prabhupada gives a nice example. You can take a mango and analyze it, or you can eat it without analyzing it, which is better. Just eat. That's all. Even after analyzing, you don't achieve anything. So in a sense, Sankhya, people who are getting impersonal realization, in a sense, they are wasting time, because they're trying to understand reality from logic, from Nyaya, and from various other tools, which is major mentioned in Vedic scriptures, from Praman, Pramiti, Pramaya. But devotees are not really interested to understand Krishna. They are interested to love and serve him. And in the process, they understand it. In the process of loving. Prema bhakti jahan hoite, avidya vinashti. In the process, they understand. So that is called devotion. So there is a tradition, there is a long tradition of arguments between impersonalist and personalist. And there have been books published, volumes after volumes, of these fights, Nyaya Amrit Advait Siddhi, the famous back and forth debate between, of course, impersonalist and personalist. So there is a tradition, it's a long tradition, but who wins? Well, sometimes somebody gets defeated, sometimes somebody gets defeated. It continues, but wise people, they understand that actually there is no point of discussion. The only point of discussion comes when the impersonalists are Mayavadis. So there are two types of impersonalists. One impersonalist is who are Mayavadis, another impersonalist is who are Sankhyavadis. This verse is not talking about Mayavadis, they're talking about Sankhyavadis. Mayavadis are those people who also think God is impersonal, but they are Mayavadis in the sense they do an offense by saying that God is impersonal and not personal. His personal form is illusion. That's Maya. That's why they are called Mayavadis. But Sankhyavadis, they also consider God as impersonal, but then they don't deny the form of Lord. They say, okay, reality has having a form and also is formless, but we are interested in forms. They are called impersonalists, Sankhyavadis or Brahmavadis. But Mayavadi says, no, God is only impersonal, and the form, what qualities you see, it's all Maya. It's all illusion. So they do offense. Mayavadi, Krishna Pradhi. That's what they say. Mayavadi, Krishna Pradhi. So they are offensive. So Mayavadis, Vaishnavas have debates. There's a long tradition of what I was talking about, long tradition. Those are long tradition of debates between Mayavadis and Vaishnavas. But as far as Sankhyavadis are concerned, we don't really debate with them, because that's okay. If they're attached to the impersonal feature, okay, fine. We are attached to the personal feature. But both impersonal and personal features are transcendental. So that's no point of argument. In fact, in Srimad Bhagavatam, the Gopkumar, so when he visits Tapalok, there in Tapalok there are many Siddhas and there are 4 Kumaras, and all are Brahmavadis. They are all impersonalists. And they tell Gopkumar, well, you can focus on the impersonalist form of Lord, and that will be more satisfying. Gopkumar does for some time, but then he's not satisfied and is attracted towards Shyam Sundar form of Krishna. He becomes unsatisfied. But it's not that he's debating with them, and it's not that. But Mayavadis, we have to debate and defeat them, by the way. And not just defeat, but destroy them. Destroy their philosophy. That's what Madhva, I mean to say, great Vaishnavacharyas spend their whole life in destroying Mayavad. Bhakti Siddhanta, Madhvacharya, even Ramanacharya. 50% of Vaishnava philosophy is actually cutting Mayavad. 50%. For Madhva, it's 100%. His whole philosophy is destroying Mayavad. For us, at least 50% is cutting Mayavad. So that's the whole point there. And that is why you see this, if you read the entire purport, Vaishnavas solve this contradiction. Well, Krishna is formless, Krishna is having form. How do you understand this? One way to understand this is Krishna's effulgence is formless, which Sankhya-vadis have realization, and there's a personal form. But then another way to harmonize this is when Veda says God is formless, then they say that actually he's having no material form. From material perspective, they say he's formless. He's having no material form, but then he's having a spiritual form. So there are 2 ways to harmonize this argument of impersonalism and personalism. And devotees understand this, Gaudiya Vaishnavas. They can easily harmonize all these issues. And so devotees are not generally interested in debates until unless he is a Mayavadi. Mayavadi, we can argue, we can defeat, we can spend time and energy to. Srila Prabhupada's 50% part of his books is actually cutting Mayavad. Even in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he is destroying Mayavad. Mahaprabhu himself, he destroyed the arguments of Sarvam Bhattacharya, Prakashanand Saraswati, who were like hardcore Mayavadis. And he spent time for that because if anybody becomes Mayavadi, then he becomes an offensive. Mayavadi, Krishna Aparadhi, and they go to hell. So to save them from going to hell, Vaishnavas spend time to save them. That's the idea. So there are 2 ways how we harmonize this argument between impersonalism and personalism. There are 2 ways. One is by invoking the concept of effulgence of Krishna. Another is by invoking the concept of saying that Krishna is having no material form and no material qualities. That's why he's called formless. So in that sense, although only childish people, they keep on debating. They argue. But wise people, they know that both processes can lead to ultimate realization of Krishna. Even impersonalists, in the end, if they get association of devotees, they immediately become liberated. And they realize the form. Kumaras, who were they? The classical example is 4 Kumaras. They were impersonalists, but then they went to Vaikuntha and they smelled the tulasi leaves of Krishna and they become personalists. Sukadeva Goswami himself, he was an impersonalist, but when he heard Bhagavatam, he became a personalist. So Sankhya-vadis, they don't go to hell. If they're fortunate enough to associate with devotees, they change to Bhakti Yoga. And that eventually happens. that eventually happens. Krishna makes sure that they get upgraded from Brahman realization to Bhagwan realization. It generally happens. They can't, nobody can be completely satisfied in the impersonal realization of God. It's impossible. Because there is no prem by chitri. This technical term is used, prem by chitri. In impersonal realization of God, there is no love. Why? Because there is no variety. You are there and the impersonal Jyoti is there. There is no variety, there is no person, there is no qualities, there is no form. Whom will you interact? Whom will you talk? And with whom pastimes are to be done? So there is no pastimes. So that is why it becomes boring. That is why I said there is no prem by chitri in Brahman realization. Variegatedness of love. And then it becomes very boring. So that is why Bhagavatam says, Arya Krichena Param Padam Prata Patantya Dona Aditeshna Panambraya. People who are impersonalists, they put so much effort to realize in the impersonal form, a lot of tapasya, a lot of vairagya, a lot of knowledge. Shankaracharya says, if you want to understand the impersonal feature of Lord, avyakta vyaktir hi dukkha, avyaktir hi dukkha, Krishna says, to realize the impersonal feature of Lord, it's full of miseries, frustration, and actually a lot of efforts. Because you need knowledge, you need vairagya, you need extreme renunciation, you need but then at the end you achieve at impersonal realization, you need perfect sense control, then you'd achieve impersonal realization, and then there's nobody to talk. It's so boring, you know. So it's almost like you do it's almost like you travel to America, and then you travel in America, you travel to one city, spending a lot of money, energy, time, and then when you reach that place, that particular place in America where you have to go, where you had decided to go, you find nobody. How much disappointment you will get, isn't it? Or you go to some friend, if your friends invite you and you go, and then you find nobody in his house. What happens? You get disappointed and frustrated. Oh, we came, but they're gone. The impersonal realization is like that. You toil so much to understand reality, and then when you reach there, there is nobody. There is light. It's such a frustrating experience. You say, oh, why did I come? There's nobody here. You feel disappointed. So then they fall down. Impersonalists eventually fall down. If impersonalists do not upgrade themselves to personal realization, they will eventually fall down. There is no doubt in that. That's what Brahmaji says. And that's what is Krishna's opinion. What's that? Tasya sulabha partha. Krishna says for him. So this question is settled in 12th chapter Bhagavad Gita. So in 12th chapter Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna raises this point. Who are better, impersonalist or personalist? To solve this doubt forever, he asks Krishna. Krishna says, well, avyaktayatir dukkha. He says, well, impersonal realization full of unhappiness, it's very difficult, but the same sulabha partha. Ananyas chintanto mam yajana paripasate. Isham sisthanam vasnam. The same sulabha partha, I forgot. So for people who approach me with love and who actually like me and focus on my personal form, for him, I am very easy to attain. Krishna himself announces this in 12th chapter. And that debate is forever settled. So the fight between impersonalists and personalists, Sankhyavadis, I'm not talking about Mayavadis, is not that Krishna is impersonal or Krishna is personal. The debate is which is easy to attain. And that debate is solved in 12th chapter. So I think I'll end up here. I'll entertain questions. That's better. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for such a wonderful class on explaining about the impersonalism and the personalism. So it was really relishing to know about various facts of both the thing, and the one which I liked was like You were saying we cannot, it's boring in impersonalism, right? So the Brahman realization. So because we are designed with varieties, so we need varieties. So that's why instead of the Brahman realization, so we come to the personal realization, which we relish the form of the Lord. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So dear devotees, the forum is open for question and answers. Please raise your hands and go ahead with your questions. Yeah, Eka Radhika Leela Mataji, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhu, for the class. I had a question. You were talking about the the gopis this morning, and I was just meditating on the gopis this morning, and I was trying to see if there's a book with more information about the gopis that it is in our parampara, and if you could, tell us about that, if you know.
Yeah, you can read Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ante Leela. It's all about gopis. It's right there, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ante Leela, it's all gopis and the love for Krishna. Have you read Chaitanya Charitamrita?
Ante Leela, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Thank you, Mataji. Prahalad and Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mataji, for allowing me to speak. Dhanavad Pranam to all Vaishnavas and Keshavanada Prabhuji. I just, want to add little in the line of Char Kumaras and Sukdev Goswami himself. The latest is Prabodhanand Saraswati, Srimad Prabodhanand Saraswati. He says, Kaivalyam Narkayate. It's a very famous sloka like that, and that's how it is. So it's really, anyone who is who comes in contact with pure devotee like Sri Prabhupada and his disciples, he will become devotee, lover of Lord Krishna. There's no doubt about it. So that's the magic there. Thank you very much for the nice class you gave this morning. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Very well.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for that wonderful realization. You always relish us with your realizations. Thank you so much for that. Shukrar Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Keshavanada Prabhu, Dhanavad Pranam, maximum humble wishes, Prabhu. Dhanavad Pranam, Prabhu. Prabhuji, when there are so many books and everything, why do they go for impersonalism? When it is clearly given that Bhagavan hai and he has a form, why people are running behind impersonalism and Brahmajyoti? There's no one to guide them that this Bhagavan is there and you just worship. Why that another set of people just
because you see Sankhyavadis, they generally bank upon Vedas and Upanishads. Our central book is Srimad Bhagavatam, but their central book is Upanishad. So when you read Upanishads, it's not clearly defined, the form, qualities, and they are not clearly defined. It's left abstract in Upanishads. You have to take the form out of it. But Srimad Bhagavatam, it's clearly defined. It's very explicit. But in Upanishad, it's implicit. It's not there. Upanishads talk in a very abstract language. Tat, Om, Tat, Sat, Tat, they use that, this, all these abstract words. And absolute, Satya, this is not clearly defined. So that is why they get confused and they think that's the reality, impersonal form. And of course, they don't have association of devotees, so they don't accept it. Gop Kumar, he went to Tapalok in Bhagavatam, where they all are on first list, and he couldn't really convince them that God is having a form, Sham Sundar, and they had some debate, but he couldn't. They said, well, we are completely satisfied in this, so that's okay. Rather, they try to convince him that you switch over to our thing because Upanishads are saying this. So impersonal realization is also having a lot of bliss, even beyond what we can think of. I mean to say, if we get impersonal realization, we might leave Krishna because we only know theoretically what Krishna is. But if we really get impersonal realization, we leave Krishna because that bliss is beyond our imagination. The bliss of Krishna is even beyond imagination of impersonalists. But as far as we are concerned, we have no realization either of Krishna, either of impersonal realization. We have some kind of imaginary bliss of chanting something. We have some stupid sentimental issues are there. But we are nowhere in other impersonalism, personalism. So we can get equally trapped in personal realization. And Prabhupada says the last snare of Maya is impersonalism. Prabhupada says that in his books. You can't get out of it. So that is why they are trapped. The question which seems so obvious to us, why they are doing this, it might not seem obvious when this impersonalization will dawn upon us. We'll ourselves get trapped. So that's why devotees, all devotees, they pray, Krishna, save us from that calamity of impersonal realization. We may get stuck in that when it comes, and it will come. But only Krishna can take us out of it.
But Prabhuji, that impersonal bliss also is a temporary one, no? वो they cannot have a permanent, it's not eternal, no? Impersonal, no? फिर गिर जाएगा ना?
वो temporary भी eternal होता है. That temporary is also, it's for so long, practically, it's eternal. So just like for demigods, we say they are Amar. Like for our comparison, Brahma is eternal, From Brahma's life is eternal. So that temporary realization is also almost for eternity. Keeps on going, keeps on going, keeps on going, keeps on going. Seems like eternity. So they don't have, people who get impersonal realization, they can't even think and imagine this, that it is temporary. Because it is so deep and for so long, they say, come on, this is wrong. It's not temporary. They don't believe the scriptures of Bhakti. They don't believe it. So because Upanishads also say it is Nitya, it is Anant. It doesn't finish, it is always. But Bhagavatam then says, no, actually it is temporary. Eventually they'll fall down. Eventually Brahma is going to die. But that's eventually. So that's the whole idea there. They don't feel it. It's temporary. That's the whole thing.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, then Vishuddhananta Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanvat Pranam. Am I audible, Prabhuji?
Yeah.
प्रभुजी मैं हिंदी में बात करना चाहूंगा. मेरी इंग्लिश अच्छी है लेकिन मैं आपको ग्रेटिट्यूड, आपको धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूँ. एक्चुअली आई यूज्ड टू वर्क इन दुबई. मैं दुबई में काम करता था. अब मैं इंडिया में आया हूँ तो मैं शिफ्ट ड्यूटी करता था. तो मेरी ब्रेक टाइम पे हर टाइम पे आपके लेक्चर सुनता था भगवत गीता के, और आपके पूरे भगवत गीता के लेक्चर्स मैंने सुने. एंड आई कैन फील एक्चुअल जो आप भगवत गीता का सार बताते हो, ऐसा मैंने इस्कॉन में भी कहीं लोगों को सुना नहीं है. सो आई एम वेरी थैंकफुल टू यू कि वो सुनने के बाद मैं अपनी लाइफ में प्रैक्टिस कर पाया हूँ और अभी प्रचार भी करता हूँ. आई रियली वांट टू टेक योर ब्लेसिंग्स प्रभु जी, दैट कि मैं आपका आशीर्वाद पाना चाहता हूँ कि मैं और प्रचार कर सकूं और अपने गुरु महाराज को सेटिस्फाई कर सकूं.
कहाँ है इंडिया में? कहाँ है आप?
अभी प्रभु जी मैं अहमदाबाद में हूँ. मैं आपसे एक बार मिलना भी चाहता हूँ और पर्सनली आके आपके ब्लेसिंग्स लेना चाहता हूँ.
Okay, no problem. We will. I'll come in touch with you. You just email me, no problem.
आपका email address कैसे मिलेगा?
Email. So I think the organizer of this, Jyoti Mataji, so you can type my email on this and then you can take that.
Please type the
Shama
email.
Gauri Mataji will give you Prabhuji.
I'm actually connected with Damodar Desh, Prabhuji, Dubai.
Okay, fine. We will talk to you. I'll call you.
Just
give me a
so please email. Yes, email address please आप लिख दीजिए कोई भी, तो मैं उसको स्क्रीनशॉट ले लूंगा. I'm really thankful to you, प्रभु जी. आपने मेरी लाइफ में बहुत बड़ा डिफरेंस किया है. So please प्रभु जी मुझे blessings दीजिए. I need
we'll talk and we'll talk.
Yes, Prabhuji, we will type in the email address and you can send email to Prabhuji and you can talk to him offline. Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Then next is Lalitangi Mataji. Please go ahead. Lalitangi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very, very wonderful class. And you answered a lot of questions. especially the one that why Srila Prabhupada's 50% of Prabhupada's books is dedicated to defeating impersonalism. So there are two questions in that. So it's like, because we at this point of time, we don't have any education of impersonalism or karma yoga or Sankhya yoga or anything. So my question is, by telling about impersonalism in the purports, it's like telling don't touch the fire, don't touch the fire. And is it, I mean, making it more curious to touch the fire and compare more? Is that's my fear also that.
Oh, actually, okay. So you're saying that we don't know about impersonalism, but then Prabhupada is informing us about impersonalism. So it takes us to the other way. You know, why to inform something when you don't know anything? So yeah. So you see the point. I think Satsuru Maharaj made this point when Prabhupada was distributing Bhagavad Gita in America first time when he came to America, 60s. And then Satsuru Maharaj, he was reading Bhagavad Gita, and you see right in the second chapter, Krishna says, there was never a time I was not there and you were not there. And Prabhupada writes a big popper to that. And then Prabhupada is dedicating to actually countering Mayavad. And then even in Bhagavad Gita, again, this theme repeats in Bhagavatam, again, Mayavad. So Suru Maharaj was thinking, why Prabhupada is after, all this cutting impersonal. And he had a doubt, why Prabhupada is after this. So, but then he said, when we all, I mean to say all these foreigners, they went to India for the first time and to Kumbh Mela and all these things, so they could understand why Prabhupada is doing this, because Americans didn't realize what he's doing, but Prabhupada knew that this, if anybody could have made them fall down from the path of devotion, this is this philosophy. Even, and in fact, so I think in fact Rabindra Swarup Prabhu, he made this point that although we didn't know what is impersonalism, but after we read it, we could understand all the philosophies, New Age philosophies which were existing in America, they were based on impersonalism. We could really chalk it out, and then we could separate us from all those speculative philosophies, and it actually really helped us without knowing that it is helping us. So that way, it's very important to actually fight with this philosophy. In fact, impersonalism is not just a philosophy. It manifests itself in various forms.
Right.
In fact, if you see Nyaya, Vaisheshika, and Sankhya, and even, I mean, this Shankara, definitely Shankara. Even sense gratification is form of impersonalism, if you think about it, because sense gratification is ultimately everything is for myself, and ultimately nobody exists, only I exist, because everything is for me. So it's a form of virtual impersonalism. You are in your own virtual world, and really nobody exists. Everything exists. I exist. So, and all the philosophies, like for example, skepticism. It says they doubt everything. Samshaya atma vinashyati. That's again impersonalism, because you don't have faith in anybody. Not having faith in anybody means you are impersonalist. You don't accept anybody as a person. His faith, person is faith. The Krishna says in Shraddha Treyo Vibhag 17 chapter, a person is known by his faith. That forms his personality. So that's also impersonalism. Science is impersonalism. Universal laws, cosmic consciousness, and so they don't believe in transcendental person. They believe in a impersonal force to the max. Einstein, all these. So that's also impersonalism. So impersonalism is the bedrock of jnana, of yoga, of sense gratification, of everything. So once you destroy this root, you destroy the entire material paradigm.
Wow.
That's where Prabhupada goes there.
Yeah, that's amazing, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Now we can see what it is.
Yeah.
And hearing your lecture today, I was wondering, it's a very maybe a basic question, but it's a lingering question to make sure that whether I am in this path. So what is that element called bhakti that differentiates the yogites and sankhyats from those who are devotees, that Krishna is ready to reveal himself to this set of people? And what is that they are lacking? Because they are also renouncing everything, dedicating themselves to find God, right? So I just want to understand that.
Yeah, what is lacking is, you see, I can answer this question in two ways. In general way, you can say what is lacking is love, but that's very abstract. So because even if you go to ashramas of these jnanis and yogis, they might also have deities, and they also sing songs, and it seems like they love them. But the real answer is that service attitude is not there. They don't want to serve Krishna. Now, but then, well, you might say, okay, they're also offering puja, and they're also offering flowers and artis. So in the sense, they're also chanting the name. If you go to Rishikesh, so isn't that service? But the idea is our understanding of service is very different. Their understanding of service is their understanding is, okay, we offer worship to the supreme form and whatever it is to get their own realizations. Our understanding of service is to understand the desires of Krishna. They have no idea of this desires of God. They have no concept of desires of God. That concept doesn't exist in their mind. For them, reality is Satchit. It's knowledge and it's eternality. There's no Anand concept. Anand means there's no desire. So because they don't have any concept of desires, so their concept of service is very superficial and not exactly service. But our concept of service is, I mean, even as devotees, we talk about service, but we don't understand what's the meaning of service. Service is not just doing something for Krishna. Service is to first understand what he wants from us. And service is to also understand when we offer something to him, how will he react to that? That is also to be really understood, because reaction matters, not the action matters. You can do anything, but what matters is reaction. You can say to a girl, I love you, but if she slaps you, it's over, Or you can say to another girl, I love you, and she kisses you, okay, then it's okay. So that is actually service, to see the whole situation from the eyes of beloved and not from your eyes. And for that, we have to enter the mind of God. And they have absolutely no idea of mind of God. If you tell the mind of God, they'll say it's crap. And another thing is, so this is one thing, service, and within service, we want to understand the desires of God. Another thing is the sweetness part. For him personally, there's no question of sweetness. They might accept form as transcendental, but sweetness, there's no concept. For them, what all exists is to the max the power and the glories of that absolute truth, but sweetness, they have no idea of that. So we focus on the sweetness part of Krishna. We are more interested in his sweetness, and that and because we are interested in sweetness of Krishna, Krishna is more than happy, because sweetness brings us close to him. Power separates us from him, leaves a gap. So that's why the sweetness, because we are interested in the sweetness of Krishna, our service is more intensified and more palatable to him. So these two things makes us very different from them. So what makes us different is service, but to really fine tune it, because to really fine tune it, it's to understand the desires and the mind and the reaction of Krishna, how he's reacting to it, to our actions. And the other thing is his sweetness. And his sweetness, especially in relationship with Radha. That also they will never accept. They will, I mean to say, for them, even accepting Krishna in his holistic, in whole, to accept Krishna, that's equally difficult. For them, Radha, that's no, not at all. So that's what Mahaprabhu came to give us. And if we miss that portion, we are not in Gaudiya Vaishnava. We are somewhere in our world. Like that.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Such a wonderful revelation of seeing what is it that attracts Krishna to the devotee. That's so nice. And I feel that this is all based on personalistic philosophy, right? Again. And that's why they miss the Ananda part, because there is no personalist philosophy there. So, yeah. Everything ties together. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'll tell you one. Just in the end, I'll tell you. See, Rupa Goswami says Nam Rup Gun Leela. He says, okay, person means Nam Rup Gun Leela, but actually he doesn't. In Nectar of Instruction, he says. But then you know what? Even impersonalists might accept this statement Nam Rup Gun Leela, because they might, because Sankhyavadis, it's not material, it's all transcendental, but they are more interested in their personal thing. But for us, it's not Nam Rup Gun Leela, actually. It is not like that. It is, Rupa Goswami doesn't mention that, but we are supposed to understand. It is the desires of God. We are more interested in his desires and not just in Ram Rup Gun Leela. That doesn't help. And that's the point. People who chant the names of the Lord without understanding his desires, that is called as Namabhas, by the way. And devotees who chant the holy name and they neglect the desires of God. I mean, they don't even want to understand the desires of God. They're simply interested in their own desires. That's called Namabhas. And Shuddhanam is, we're interested in the desires of God. And once we get interested in to understand the desires of God, then Nam Rup Gun Leela, then they manifest. Sevon Mukhai Jivadav, Swameva Suratiyada. So that makes a central difference there. We want to understand his desires and try to fulfill him as he wants. This is nowhere for impersonalist. If we can understand this, there is a book in Christianity. So if you can read that, it will be good. You can just download. It's a beautiful book. The name of the book is Uniformity of the Will. And it is written by Saint Alphonsus. Although he's a Christian, but he makes the point. He nails the point, you know. Uniformity of the Will. You can get it on net easily. And it's a beautiful book. And because I'm into Christians also theist, and they also believe in personal aspect of God. Although it's not so deep, but it nails the point. Okay.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Your realizations and so much of years and years of hard work that you have put in to give us this is we can't be grateful enough. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lalitangi Mataji, for that in-depth question, and thank you so much, Prabhuji, for such a wonderful and elaborated answer. Drishti Mataji, please go ahead. Drishti Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, thank you so much, Prabhuji.
What's your age? What's your age?
20, Prabhuji.
Okay. Okay.
Prabhuji, actually, to ask you only just one question. How can we serve you? I have mailed you regarding this also.
Oh yeah, I think Drishti-san. No,
yes,
don't serve Krishna. If you want to serve me, do one thing. Understand my lectures and love Krishna. That's the best.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, my one question is, how can we know that our intention is for Krishna, for serving Krishna, or not? How to know that it is for Krishna?
You can understand by chanting. If you are serving for Krishna, and not for yourself, then when you chant, Krishna will be happy to reveal himself. So when you chant, you will remember his form, qualities, pastimes. He will come near you when you chant, and then you remember him. So if while chanting you're remembering him, that means you're serving for him. If while chanting you're not remembering him and your mind is going here and there, that means you served for yourself and not for Krishna.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Dharma Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhuji. But still, when chanting, it's going here and there. So we cannot, I don't know when it will come together.
Yeah.
So, Arun Prabhuji, please go ahead with your question. Arun Prabhuji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, my question is regarding this. In the purport of this shloka, we have absolute truth is known in three ways: Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagwaneti, Sabdate. And also, Srila Prabhupada quotes it in 434. Is referring in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.11 that one who knows what is Paramatma, what is Brahman, what is Bhagwan, he is Tattvadarshi. So what exactly Prabhuji mean by knowing it? Is it knowing, just knowing, like we know like Paramatma is like we give examples by analogy knowing, or what exactly
No,
mean
not
by
analogy. If you know Brahman, that means you realize that Krishna is everywhere. You have realized this fact. He's everywhere. It's not just theory. You know he's outside, he's inside, he's everywhere. That means that wherever you will see, wherever you will face, you will remember him. Whatever you see in this material world, you remember him. That's impersonal realization. Not his qualities, pastimes, but you can remember his eternality, and you can remember that he's all powerful and all perfect. And Paramatma realization is that you will always be conscious that somebody is there inside you. Just like mother is always conscious when she's pregnant, a baby is inside her womb. You are not a male, you are not a female, so sorry, so you will not know what I'm talking about. But a female who is pregnant, she knows that there is some baby inside my tummy. So a female can realize the fact that the baby inside her, but the husband can only understand it. He can't realize. Husband also knows the baby is there in the tummy. Female also knows, but female realizes and husband knows, only understands. So there's a theory and realization. So Paramatma realization is you will always be conscious somebody else is there within my heart. You'll be conscious. Some other person is there. Some person is sitting inside me.
Okay.
And
so all okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Prabhuji. It's all three aspects. We have the one has to be always conscious of all these three aspects.
Bhagwan realization will bring all two realizations itself. Automatically, other two realizations as we become pure.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Jyoti Mataji, please go ahead. You have time, Prabhuji, because we have someone raised some question is also there in the chat.
Yeah, I think quickly I can answer. If Jyoti Mataji will ask small question.
I'll skip it. I'll keep answering. No problem.
Just keep it brief. Yeah.
No problem. Let others get a chance. My question is not that important.
Okay. So Jyoti Mataji, you will go ahead, or I can give someone else?
Ask me on email also. No problem. She's connected to me on email.
Okay, fine. Indilekha Prema Maya Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you so much for your wonderful, very illuminating and inspiring classes. My question was, the original Sankhya philosophy is by Lord Kapila, what he told to his mother, Devati. So that is based on Bhakti Yoga. So how does this connect with that? Because this is totally different from that.
No. This is
no.
Srila Prabhupada says in 9th canto that we had two Kapilas. One is Kapila of Devahuti, who is like a personalist, but there was another Kapila who was propagating impersonal Sankhya.
Okay. So, but they are both called Sankhya philosophies.
Yeah, both Sankhya, both Kapila.
Okay. Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Shukakar Prabhuji, again I see your hand raised. Can I read the chat question and then come again with you, Prabhuji?
Yeah. First, please read the chat questions. That will be good idea.
Yeah. So Pallavi Mataji is asking. She has asked the first, I think.
Yeah.
There is someone asked for the Prabhuji's mail ID. It's there in the chat, so you can go ahead with the mail ID. So Mataji is asking, we are in sadhana bhakti, then is it wrong to expect mercy from Krishna? At this level, is it right to think in gopis mode?
Well, as far as mercy is concerned, we ask mercy. For us, the concept of mercy is we ask mercy for Krishna so that he engages in his service. That's all. We don't. Our asking mercy is actually not asking mercy. That's the idea. So we ask mercy from Krishna. Krishna, please teach us how to serve you purely. And in other words, we are saying we don't want to bother you by saying give me mercy, and we want to serve you. That's what our concept of mercy is. If you're asking mercy in that consciousness, then it's okay. But if you're asking mercy in the consciousness, please have mercy on me, I am tensed, I want peace, please bless me so that my life becomes auspicious, it's all crap. People are just another botheration on the head of Krishna. No, we are not here to give him botheration. We are his servants. So we are here to give him happiness. Other things, you manage your own life yourself. No, we are not here that Krishna will manage our life and another headache on his head. He manages our own life and we serve him. That's all.
Yeah, I think everything will fall online when we ask to the Lord for the mercy to serve Him. So that's really very nice, Prabhuji. I was also having this question initially when you started the class. You were saying about we should not ask for mercy. In fact, Krishna is asking for the mercy to look after him. So thank you so much, Prabhuji. So Shukadhar Prabhuji, please go ahead.
Okay.
You're muted, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Keshavanada Prabhu, last question. The impulsivism, you said, that means they have got desire. They are having selfish motive. That means dharma, artha, kama, moksha. By doing dharma, they are asking for martha, kama, moksha. So they are having some desires, and that is totally humbug, not correct. And you told about Bhakti Yoga is selfless, where they are doing only for the pleasure of the Lord. So Shikshastakam, last verse, that is, whatever, I am just your dog, you do what? That is the mood of a bhakta, you told. And you told about the that are we going to back to Godhead to get the love of Godhead, or is the love of Godhead it's available in this material world, the Krishna prema? To get the prema, you have to go back home, or you get in this material world, in this material body?
Well, we can get love of God. I mean to say, without getting love of God, we'll not go back to God. Love of God is like passport. Without passport, you can't enter there. So that is very important. And the love of God is a passport.
Is it correct to ask God that I want to go back to Godhead, or say that wherever I am, just I want to remember, but I am feeling to be secure to go back to Godhead? Is it right to ask that I want to go back to Godhead?
Well, Mama
or
Janmani,
is it right to say that
Mama Janmani Bhaktat Bhakti Rahito Kite? We don't ask to go back to Godhead or anywhere else. We want Krishna with us. Whether here or whether anywhere, but we want Krishna with us first. That's all. Then it's up to him where he wants to.
miserable material world में इतना मुश्किल है, miserable material world उधर जाएगा तो that old age and disease are not there. That is why I'm feeling like just I want to just get छुटकारा मिले नो.
Agar for escaping old age and disease we are going, then it's a business.
No, not old age. I'm telling overall in this material world is we are not able to have.
It's a miserable world, but the point is that love is not based on happiness or miseries. Love is based on love. So although
मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ प्रभु?
मैं कह रहा हूँ love is based on love. It's not based on any happiness or mysteries. So my point is although Srila Prabhupada says that it is miserable world and we should go back to God and this is not a right place to live in, and that's correct because this place hinders our service and actually makes us forget about Krishna. So it's a dangerous place. But so in conditioned life, we might be tempted to get out of it because our bhakti gets destroyed.
Yeah.
But on a higher level, absolute surrender is. But when we advance, we understand well. Absolute surrender is that okay, fine. I cannot do bhakti in this material world, in this useless place. But if Krishna is with me, then nothing can stop. So he understands that. So then he stops thinking about escaping from this material world. He's just thinking, how can Krishna be with me? And if we think this, how can Krishna with me? Automatically we'll escape. So devotees are intelligent. Devotees are intelligent. They find a faster way to escape by focusing absolutely.
Chanting.
Yeah. So we can escape faster if we don't think
क्योंकि
about it.
उधर uninterrupted service होगा. इधर suppose you die and take birth again in between you and the mother's womb. वो इतना uninterrupted नहीं हो रहा.
हाँ वही तो उसका फास्टर तरीका ये है. तो एक्चुअली मध्वाचार्य entertains this question. साधारण रीति विशेष रीति. Sadharan Riti is okay, I want to escape from this material world because it's pratikul for bhakti. But Vishesh Riti is that, okay, don't think about escaping. Just think about connecting yourself with Lord. Automatically you'll get out. That's okay. So I'm done, you know.
Okay.
I have another class.
Thank you, Prabhu.
तो बिना मांगे मिल जाएगा. बिना मांगे मिल जाएगा. Just to leave it to him, he will do it. Thank you, Prabhu. धन्यवाद प्रभु. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, so we have two questions. We have time, or we can end the call for today.
I just want to end here because I have another class.
Okay.
Jai.
Okay, thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving your valuable time and association. It was really very wonderful and elaborated question answer session, which is very helpful for every one of us. And thank you, devotees, for asking so much interesting questions also. Let's pay our obeisances to Prabhuji. Prabhuji, we seek your blessings and prayers and for us all who are all watching on YouTube and to us in the Zoom call. And we want your association in future also. We'll pay our obeisances to Prabhuji. Vancha kalpatrupasya.
पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय वैष्णववृंद की जय। श्री केशवानंद प्रभु जी की जय।
Thank you so much for joining the call.
ललिता माता जी की जय हो.
Jai.
श्याम माता की जय हो.
Hare
जय हो. हरि बोल.